Welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump right in. Today, we're unpacking a really breathtaking, cinematic story about a small bird named Wren. It's a deeply emotional narrative about facing your ultimate nightmare to save the ones you love. We're going to break down the anatomy of suspense, the lingering effects of trauma, and what true bravery actually looks like when you are absolutely terrified.
Okay, so it all starts with this chilling mantra. It will pass. It will pass. Picture this. Whenever the sky over Silverwood Forest darkens, whenever those clouds start to gather, Wren tucks herself into the deepest, darkest part of an old oak tree. Her eyes are wide, her wings are trembling, and she's just whispering these exact words to herself over and over. She is absolutely terrified of the sky turning violent.
Which brings us to Act 1, a bird paralyzed by fear. Now you gotta understand, this isn't just your standard fear of bad weather. It's a deeply rooted psychological scar. 2 years ago, on a night pretty much exactly like the one that's about to unfold, Wren's father flew into a violent storm to protect their nest, and well, he never came back. So since that night, her fear has been literally crippling. Every single rumble of thunder just freezes her wings. But here's the catch. Today, she can't just hide anymore. She's a mother now. She has 3 fragile, helpless babies of her own who are entirely depending on her.
And that sets the stage for Act 2, the storm approaches.
The author does such an incredible job here breaking down the visceral, sensory details of the approaching storm. It builds this intense, almost suffocating suspense. First, the wind snaps through the leaves. It's like a physical warning, right? Then there's that heavy, metallic, electric smell in the air that sends all the forest animals scrambling for cover. The horizon goes completely dark, turning into this massive wall of deep purple gray, and then, crack, the violent thunder hits. It's deep, it's alive, and it's terrifying. Beneath her wings, Wren's babies are chirping nervously, and she's trying to whisper to comfort them. But inside, her own mind is screaming that she can't handle this.
And then, things go from scary to instantly lethal. The wind gets so incredibly strong that it bends this massive oak tree like a bow. A huge gust rips through the branches, and the nest tilts completely sideways. One of her babies slips, cries out, and is barely caught by the woven twigs at the very edge. Her heart just shatters. She realizes the nest is failing. It is absolutely not going to survive the night.
This brings us to Act 2, an impossible choice.
So Wren is forced into an impossible situation. Look at this choice. On one hand, she can stay in the failing nest, which guarantees certain death for her babies. On the other hand, there's this old, hollow tree across the clearing that's solid, dry, and totally safe. But to get there, she has to fly through the open sky. She literally has to enter the exact same type of storm that killed her father. It's the ultimate catch-22, the temporary safety of hiding versus the absolute terror of taking action.
But as lightning splits the sky, lighting up her helpless babies, she hits this moment of pure realization. She finally understands what her father must have felt 2 years ago. I have to fly, even if I'm scared, especially because I'm scared. It's such a profound shift in her mindset. Love overpowers the terror, and she decides she's going to carry her babies to safety one by one.
Moving into Act 3, flying through the storm.
Here's the truly nerve-wracking parts. Because she's so incredibly small, she can't just grab them all at once. She has to make 3 harrowing trips. That means she has to fly low, weave through this chaotic, blinding rain, dodge falling debris, and expose herself to this deadly sky not just once, but 3 separate times.
That first trip is a brutal awakening. The wind just slams against her small blue body. It's like these invisible hands are actively trying to shove her back. The rain is relentless, the thunder is roaring overhead, and for a split second she almost turns around. But she thinks of the baby she's carrying, and the baby's waiting back in the nest, and she pushes forward.
By the second trip, the physical toll is just massive. Her wings are absolutely burning with exhaustion. Lightning cracks across the sky so violently close that the very air seems to vibrate around her. But she refuses to stop.
Then we hit the third and final trip. This is the absolute peak of the suspense. Out of nowhere, a violent gust of wind catches her and spins her completely sideways, totally out of control. As she's tumbling through the freezing rain, her absolute worst nightmare becomes real. Terrifying flashbacks hit her. She literally sees her father's wings disappearing into a storm exactly like this one. Her deepest psychological trauma is playing out in physical reality.
But right at the edge of defeat, something clicks. No, not today, not my babies. She taps into this burst of unimaginable, desperate strength. She straightens her wings, grips that last baby tighter, and fights through the wind with literally everything she has left in her.
And that brings us to Act 3, Safe in the Hollow. Talk about a cinematic finish, right? Literally, the second she reaches the safety of the hollow tree, a massive branch cracks from the oak behind her, the exact branch that was holding her old nest. It just explodes into splinters on the forest floor. It's the ultimate proof that she made her move in the exact right second. If she had hesitated, if she had let the fear win, they would have been gone.
The contrast in the aftermath is just beautiful. Outside, the storm is still completely raging, but inside the hollow, Wren collapses in exhaustion while her babies crawl up close to her, warm and totally safe. And what's really fascinating here is the psychological shift. The thunder is still rumbling outside, sure, but as she wraps her wings around her family, the sound doesn't feel like a hunting monster anymore. By the time morning brings its calm golden light, her entire world has changed.
Let's look at what this all means in our final section. The meaning of courage, understanding Wren's transformation. This story forces us to completely redefine this word. So often, we think of courage as just being fearless, right? But the truth is, true courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to protect what you love, taking deliberate action, even when your fear is literally screaming at you to stop.
And this is the reality of trauma and survival. As Wren looks out at that golden morning, she realizes something huge. She's actually still afraid of storms. The fear didn't just magically vanish. She didn't defeat her fear that day. She simply learned to fly alongside it. She flew with it, and by doing that, she proved she is no longer controlled by it. And honestly, that makes her stronger than the storm itself.
To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with the thought directly inspired by Wren's incredible journey. We all have storms we're terrified of facing, right? Things that make us want to just hide in the deepest branches. But if courage is simply moving forward while you're afraid, what storm will you fly through today? Thank you so much for exploring this story with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.